5:40 p.m. Eastern Time, June 21st, 2025. A 30,000-pound cylinder of hardened steel and high explosives began its deadly plunge toward Iranian soil, tearing through the night sky at nearly 700 miles per hour. In just 43 seconds, the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, capable of slicing through 200 feet of reinforced concrete or solid granite, would slam into one of the most fortified places on Earth, Iran's Fordo nuclear enrichment site. Buried deep under a mountain and shielded like a medieval fortress, Fordo had long been considered untouchable. Tonight, it was about to meet the weapon built specifically to challenge that belief. The story of how this single bomb ended up over Iran is one of precision planning, deception, and military coordination unmatched in decades. 18 hours earlier, on a quiet Missouri airfield, ground crews at Whiteman Air Force Base worked with surgical focus on one of only 19 operational B-2 Spirit stealth bombers in existence, a flying wing so valuable it costs over $2 billion apiece. 14 MOPs were loaded inside on rotary launchers. Fuel tanks were brimmed with JP-8 jet fuel, and the aircraft's stealth radar systems were primed for total invisibility. Just after midnight, the first Spirit rumbled down Whiteman's 12,400-foot runway. Its four General Electric F-118 engines, quiet yet powerful, lifted over 330,000 pounds of aircraft and payload into the night sky. But not all the departing Spirits were headed east. Some deliberately flew west toward the Pacific, drawing the attention of Russian and Chinese satellites and creating a smoke and mirrors distraction. The real strike force, meanwhile, slipped east into the darkness over the Atlantic. This was no straight shot. Even with external tanks, the Spirits couldn't make the 14,200-mile round trip to Missouri without help. Mid-Atlantic, in the black stillness of night, the first of several in-flight refuelings took place. An aerial ballet performed at 400 knots and in total darkness, where the smallest error could end a mission. By mid-afternoon Eastern Time, after 3 refueling hookups and over 15 hours in the air, the formation was nearing Iraqi airspace. There, from seemingly empty sky, F-22 Raptors appeared, ghost-like escorts invisible to radar, scanning hundreds of miles ahead with unmatched precision. Behind them, F-35 Lightning IIs followed as silent hunters. No Iranian pilot in their right mind would want to meet such company in the air tonight. While the bombers closed in, another piece of the operation had already begun. Hundreds of miles away and hours earlier, deep beneath the surface, a submarine, likely the USS Georgia, a converted Ohio-class guided missile sub, waited. Instead of nuclear warheads, she carried 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles, more than the firepower of an entire carrier strike group. At exactly the right moment, hatches opened and gas pressure blasted the first missile skyward, its booster igniting as it broke the waves. One by one, 30 Tomahawks roared into the night, skimming low over the water before vanishing inland, each programmed to arrive in perfect sync with the B-2's attack. Overhead, the skies were swept clean. A massive fighter sweep, F-22s high, F-35s lower, dozens of F-A-18 Super Hornets and EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft obliterated Iranian radar coverage. High-power jamming blinded air defense operators, while anti-radar missiles destroyed any system foolish enough to transmit. Within minutes, Iran's air defenses went dark. Not a single SAM launcher fired, not one Iranian fighter scrambled. At 5:40 p.m., the lead B-2 opened its bomb bay. A 30,000-pound MOP slid into the thin air from 45,000 feet. Its tail fins deployed, its GPS locked on, and gravity did the rest. The pilot felt the aircraft lighten as the bomb fell away. 43 seconds later, it struck. The steel penetrator didn't explode on impact. It burrowed deep underground first, detonating only when it reached the optimal point. The shockwave traveled through solid rock, pulverizing concrete designed to withstand unimaginable pressure. 11 more MOPs followed, their impacts timed to overlap, turning the mountain itself into a weapon against its hidden contents. As Fordo was being reduced to rubble, the Tomahawks arrived at their targets: uranium processing halls, storage depots, and command centers. One after another, warheads tore through structures, leaving fire, toxic clouds, and chaos in their wake.
Some of their doors still open.
The B-2's banked for home, fuel levels precisely calculated for the return refueling.
Because
in just 25 minutes over the target zone, the United States had done what decades of diplomacy had failed to accomplish: crippled Iran's nuclear ambitions in a single, perfectly executed strike. Not a single
One
American
the rock
aircraft
face
lost.
above it.
Not a single
Total
enemy
strike
missile
time,
fired in time.
just under 6 minutes.
5:40 p.m. Eastern Time, June 21st, 2025. A 30,000-pound cylinder of hardened steel and high explosives began its deadly plunge toward Iranian soil,
Drone.
tearing through the night
intercept.
sky at nearly 700
But what they
miles
locked
per
onto
hour.
that night?
In just
Invisible
43
sword.
seconds, the
flying wing
GBU-57
of
massive
raid was
ordnance
a strategic
penetrator,
artery.
capable of slicing
Fuel,
through 200 feet
money,
of reinforced
mobility.
concrete or solid
The
granite,
Houthis had a
would slam into one of the most fortified
near
places on
undetectiveness
Earth,
of the launch
Iran's
site.
Fordo nuclear enrichment
Back
site.
at Diego Garcia,
Buried deep under a
the
mountain
information
and
fed
shielded like a
directly
medieval
into a live
fortress,
mission channel.
Fordo had long been considered
Within
untouchable.
seconds,
Tonight,
analysts
it was
flagged
about
the
to meet the
origin
weapon
point,
built
demised for
specifically to
hardened
challenge that
underground
belief.
targets.
The story
Command
of how this
didn't
single
mean it was
bomb
now
ended up
a
over
crater.
Iran is one of precision
But it didn't
planning,
end there.
deception, and
2 more
military
bombs
coordination
followed,
unmatched
targeting
in
what
decades.
intelligence had flagged as a
18
hardened
hours
underground
earlier,
shelter.
on a quiet
but
Missouri
reckless.
airfield, ground crews
They didn't
at
know
Whiteman
what
Air
they were
Force
aiming
Base
at.
worked with
They didn't
surgical
drop
focus
bombs
on
that
one of
night.
only 19 operational
painted the
B-2
battlefield.
Spirit stealth bombers in
It marked
existence.
supply
A
depots,
flying wing
mapped
so valuable
transmission
it
hubs,
costs over
captured
$2
thermal
billion
imagery,
apiece.
and fed it live to
14
joint
mops were
operation
loaded
centers.
inside on rotary
It gave
launchers.
the U.S. analysts
Fuel tanks were
punching through
brimmed
layers
with
of camouflage
JP-8
and
jet
concrete.
fuel, and the
Site erupted
aircraft's
in
stealth
fire and
radar
debris.
systems were primed for
A
total
secondary explosion
invisibility.
confirmed munitions had.
Just after midnight, the
Meanwhile,
first
as
Spirit
the
rumbled
bombers
down
carved into the
Whiteman's
hard targets,
12,400-foot
the German
runway.
strike fighters hit
Its
raw
4
seaside.
General Electric
It wasn't just
F-118
a port.
engines, quiet
doomed
yet
that the U.S.
powerful,
wouldn't touch
lifted
it.
over
Too
330,000 pounds
civilian,
of
too high
aircraft
risk.
and payload
They
into the
were
night
wrong.
sky. But
That's
not
lame.
all the departing spirits
But it
were headed
didn't end
east.
there.
Some deliberately flew
Offshore,
west toward
an
the
Arleigh
Pacific,
Burke-class
drawing
destroyer
the attention
opened
of
its
Russian
VLS
and
cells.
Chinese satellites,
2
and
Tomahawk
creating a
cruise
smoke and
missiles
mirrors
shot
distraction.
skyward and arced low
The real
over the
strike
sea.
force, meanwhile,
Their
slipped
destination?
east into the darkness over the
Rosse's southern
Atlantic.
perimeter.
This was no
Intel
straight shot.
suggested a weapons
Even with
transfer
external
was
tanks,
underway
the
inside a
Spirits couldn't make
warehouse.
the 14,200-mile round trip
targets
to
hit
Missouri without help.
17.
Mid-Atlantic,
And
in
the
the black
Houthis?
stillness of night,
Scrambling.
the first of several in-flight
Radios went
refuelings took
silent
place.
mid-transmission.
An aerial ballet
Radar
performed at
sites
400
powered down.
knots and in total
Infrared
darkness,
imaging
where the
showed vehicles
smallest error
fleeing
could end the
inland.
mission.
Many
By
without lights.
mid-afternoon Eastern Time,
Firing at
after
what they
3
thought was
refueling
just a
hookups and over
slow-moving
15
drone,
hours in the air,
had summoned the
formation
full
was
fury of
nearing
American
Iraqi
stealth
airspace.
aviation.